Hi everybody, it's Matthew here from Bead Spider. How are you all doing today? It's going to be a really fun and fantastic tutorial that we're going to be doing where I'm going to show you how to use a bead loom. I'll show you how to set it up, I'll show you how to add the beads, I will show you how you can finish it off as well, a couple of different ways that you can add clasps. There's a lot to talk about, there's a lot to unpackage, but if you're watching right now, it is 3 p.m. on Friday the 29th of July 2022, and if you would like, you can get our Bead Looming Super Bundle at 30% off for the next 8-9 days. So you've got until Sunday next week, so early August you've got until, if you want to get that one. Also, I should mention, if you want to get our loom bundle but you don't need the loom, you can just type into the coupon box the code LOOMLESS. So one word, L-O-O-M, I'll put it up on the screen in a bit, L-O-O-M-L-E-S-S, and then you can get all, because we had lots of people requesting this, you can get all the things that come in the bundle, but you don't have to get the loom in case you've already got one. So we're accommodating to those people as well. Just use that coupon code at checkout if you don't need the loom. So now, like I said, we're going to be learning, I'm going to show you how to use the Rix beading loom. That's this particular one just here. They call it the Revolutionary Bead Loom, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. It really, really is quite revolutionary in terms of doing loom work, because when it comes to doing the actual setup, it's so much quicker. And then again, when it comes to doing the finish off process, it's way quicker, like considerably, 90% quicker than if you were going to do like a standard loom piece. So the reason it's so much quicker, I'll show you just here on the table. Actually, do you know what? Let's say hello to people first. I almost always forget. We've got a good conversation that's been going on over because we are live both on YouTube and Facebook simultaneously. So if you haven't done so before and you are brand new, make sure you hit that like button. Feel free to share this video if you want to. And if you're on our YouTube channel, make sure you click that subscribe button too. So anyway, hi to Rhonda, who is staying up very, very late. She says, I'm so excited for this tutorial, making sure I don't miss anything. Well, I'm glad you could make it, Rhonda. Rhonda is in Australia, where it is just about to be, it's just gone midnight for her, so she stayed up really late. So big appreciation to you, Rhonda, for joining us, and she got the very first comment in as well. We have Jules here, who is in Fife. She says, hi beading family, hope you are well. Managing to catch a live as annual leave day and very sunny in Fife. Well, I'm glad you're having a lovely sunny day and you could join us here on the stream. Jermaine is watching from the car. She says, I'm at Scotch Corner eating a pasty. So thanks for watching anyway, even though you're enjoying your pasty. In case you don't know, that's my mother. We have Maureen is here, Maxine is here. Maureen is in beautiful British Columbia in Canada. We have Maritza who is here, who says greetings everyone as well. Who else have we got? We have, I'm looking for some new ones. We have Nagimi, maybe? Kelly McCoy is here. We have Jackie as well. She says, hi everyone. We have Irina here as well. And Rebecca is watching. She says, afternoon all. So yeah, welcome one and all. But let's get into it. Let's do a bit of learning about bead looms and why this particular loom, the Rix bead loom, is really, really fantastic. So in terms of standard bead looming, the way it works is if you had, I mean, I do have one somewhere, but I didn't think to get it out. I've only just thought, do you know what would be great? Showing them an actual loom. So anyway, in a usual style of beading loom, what you have is like a little rack, as it were, similar to what we have just here. Similar to this, but each little line instead of just being a plain rod, it has all these little slits. And what you have to do is cut all of your individual threads, which takes ages in the first part, is lay one thread, 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 so that you end up with something. I'll show you the difference between a normal loom piece. So you can see how I said you got to lay out all of those threads? There's warp threads and weft threads, which we'll get into that a bit further. But the warp threads are the ones that go along your work, like so. And you can see just here, they've got a million threads. You need to have one thread between each of your lots of beads, and when you set that up, you have to try and align and spend all of this time trying to get the tension perfect on all the different threads at the one same time. With this loom, it's so much quicker and so much easier, because when it comes straight off the loom, unfortunately this one has a transparent thread. I should have thought about that earlier. But anyway, when it comes off the loom, there's, instead of, here if you have a look, we have, how many threads have we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 threads. And then if you come over to the other side, we have another 16 threads. And then you also have the end of one thread and the start of the other thread, which we go weave, 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 weave. So that's 32, 33, 34 threads that you have to deal with both at the start and at the end when you're using a traditional style loom. Now, with the loom that I'm going to use today, it's actually way, way easier. What you end up with, which here's a little snowman pattern, what you end up with is one thread at the very start, which hopefully you can just see it if I try and wiggle it round. You can sort of see it pressing against my finger. One at the start, one at the end, then one which is the start of our weaving thread just here, and one which is the end of our weaving thread. So it's literally just 4 threads. It doesn't matter how many rows you do. You could do one like this giant thing here. Look how many different rows there are. Can you imagine how long it would take you? Plus also, the great thing about this is you can have as many or as few rows as you want. There's pretty much no limitation. As long as it's the width of your loom, you'll be able to use it. So it is a fantastic little loom, just because mainly there's so few threads that you have to deal with. When it comes to looming, that is the absolute faff. And a lot of people go, wow, looming is so great. It's so much fun. I'm enjoying it so much. But then they get to the end of their piece, and when you have to deal with 34 threads, a lot of people, understandably, get very overwhelmed and go, oh man, I really couldn't be bothered to do that 34 times, to weave it in, and then weave the next one, and weave the next one, and you end up with quite a fat end section of your loom work. So it can be very, very time consuming to use that standard, a more traditional loom. So I'll show you in this particular loom what makes it revolutionary, which obviously the fact that you have so few threads that you have to deal with at the start and finish, that's one aspect. Another thing as well is that you can measure exactly the size that you want of your piece at the beginning, and you can know this is how big it's going to be. You can do your work. You don't have to worry about how long is it. It's exactly the size that you set at the beginning. So see this distance here to this distance here, that's the length of your finished piece. So if you want to adjust that, see how there's this little wing nut? What you can do, for example, is if you wanted to make, say, like an 8-inch bracelet. I've said inches, but this ruler, a filthy old used ruler, is in centimeters. So if we say an 8-inch bracelet, which is around about 20 centimeters, just here, if you wanted to make an 8-inch or 20 centimeter bracelet, all you would have to do is measure. Here is that 20 centimeter mark just there. So I need to have my two lines be this far apart. Now, how do we move it? It's really simple. I'm only going to make a small piece today, but essentially what you would do, see how there's a wing nut here and a wing nut here? We're going to loosen these two wing nuts. So if you wanted to make it a little bit larger, you can just shift this piece along. So now, already with just that small adjustment, if we align the 0 of our ruler, there we go, a 17.5 centimeter bracelet. Do you know what? Let's make it a little bit longer, shall we? Let's go a couple centimeters more. Just spin that wing nut, get it into position and go, there we go. Now we're at 19 centimeters. We can do it a little bit further. And then, there we go, like that. Try it out now. And there you go. We're now close to that 20 centimeter mark. But essentially, because I want this tutorial to be way quicker, I don't want to do that. I want to make a short piece. So, you can also bring this down to be whatever size you want. So if you wanted to make, for example, curtain ties, they don't need to be so long. Like you could make something that's nice and small that will just loop over the top of your curtains like this, and you can just thread your curtains inside. Something smaller, you can just measure that sort of size that you're going to need from here to here, and then tighten the two wing nuts to lock that little piece in place. So another really, really simple way to measure the exact size of your finished piece. So there we go. Just like that. That's now nice and secure in place, and that gives us an exact size that we're going to work with. So now what I'll do after that is show you this. There's another fantastic little system. If I hold it up in front of the screen with my face, you'll see how they're at slightly different heights. So this one is low and this one is high. Like a traditional loom, usually they're both flat, like this, at the same height. So when it comes to working at your loom, you're hunched over, and the further more progression you get into your work, the more and more you have to sort of hunch over your loom. With this particular one, which, here we go, because it's got that slight gradient, you can stay more upright and it will be sort of facing you, kind of like a book or a sheet music sort of style stand, where you can see what you're doing and you can just work on it, and you don't have to be so hunched over when you start getting towards the far end of your work. Another thing which has really, really been thought about, again with this particular loom, is, say for example, you're in the middle of making a project and then the phone starts ringing. So you go, oh, right, what am I going to do with my thread and my needle? Well, the handy thing with this, see these little fellas just here? You take your needle, and there it is. You can just whack it on that little magnet at the end. It will keep your thread nice and clean where you want it to be. And if you say, oh, I have to go out for the night now, you can just leave it attached like this, pop it in its box, take it away, do whatever you want, and you know that that needle is secure on there because of that magnet. So a very, very handy little feature. There's two of them even, if you wanted to. But as looms go, it's absolutely been thought about, the entire process from beginning to end, on how you can make looming as easy as possible. So very, very clever patented design on how that works. Now, let me tell you about the bundle that includes this loom before we begin. If you want to get the bundle, you can get it from the link in the description. It includes the loom. It includes the accessory pack, which comes as part of the loom with some extra of these little rods. It has some of these little pegs, which I'm going to show you how these work when I do my setup in a minute. That is also included as part of it. You also get what's called a thread separator, a little mini ruler. Now, there's plenty more that... so if you don't want the loom, I'll put it up on the screen. There's a little ticker just here. Where is it? Ticker. Okay, great. So yes, if you want to get the kit but not with the loom, just use the coupon code. If you watch this thing at the bottom, it will come up eventually and tell you that coupon code, which is loomless, more or less. And that will give you that discount. But let me show you what else you get. So included in your bundle, you're also going to get the 67 different patterns. So, for example, this little Christmas one is just one of the designs that you're going to get. You've got basic geometric ones. There's floral patterns, kind of like this one here. There's animal print patterns and animal-themed print designs, like this little fella here, which I've put onto a dog collar, which I thought was very clever of myself to make a nice little dog collar project there. That is also included. You've got the 4 packs, the Christmas one, the geometric, the floral, and the animal pattern packs. You've also got a little worksheet that will show you how you can reduce your loom work to a point, so it comes to like a nice little V shape here at the end that you can then put a clasp onto, which I'll show you at the end of this tutorial how that is done, but we'll get to that later. We'll get to it later. You've also got in there 2 different threads. I'll show you as well. Let's open it up, shall we? So, if we have a look just here, we've got 2 different threads as well. So you've got your 2 threads, plus there's the needle that comes with there and a needle that comes with just here as well. You also get the extra long looming needle, which is for projects like this one here, where you need it to be that little bit wider. This one will help you. Then we also have we've got the thread, we've got the needle, we've got, where did I put my threads? I just put them here. Here they are. Yeah, you've got your threads, you've got your needle. We give you clasp beads as well, which look like this just here. So you can add a little bead onto the end with a loop, just like this, and this will give you a nice little finish to your piece just there. So you get 5 of these with the bundle. You've also got, now let me show you the bead pack. The bead pack is fantastic. So this is one of the bead packs just here that you're going to get. There are 2 to choose from. So this one here is the Caribbean Crush, and then this one over here is the Vintage Rose. I'm going to be demonstrating with the Caribbean Crush color, this one just here. You've got inside of it 10 different colors of seed beads. So if we have a look just here, there's those clasp beads that you'll get. You've got 2 different colors of size 8 seed beads, so that when you're doing your very, very first project, size 8 seed beads, we're taking care of you. We're giving you size 8 seed beads because they are nice and big and easy to work with for a beginner's first ever project. So for example, like this is made with size 8 seed beads just here. You can get a fairly sizable bracelet, but with so few rows that it just is really, really easy to work with. You also get on top of that a collection of all these different colors of beads here as well. So if you have a look, we've given you like a whole rainbow's assortment worth, which I'm going to get you guys to help me choose a color of beads that you like, because I will, there you go. So you're going to get 10 colors as well, so 10 different seed bead colors that you can work with. Then this is what is the most exciting part, I think, which just here we have some 3mm glass pearls. I'm not going to be using those today, but they are gorgeous in there that you can use. You also have your 3mm crystals, which I'm going to get those out because we will be using those ones just here. So gorgeous faceted round crystals. So you've got the matte from your pearl and the crystal faceted, the sparkliness from your crystals. If you want to use them together, they look fantastic. But this is the really interesting bead, and this is the one I'm going to demonstrate with. So I'm going to be using these just here. These are called check glass brick beads. So they are 8 by 4 millimeter like this. They have a gorgeous surface on them like this one here. The purple kit includes a gorgeous color of them just there as well. But and those rainbow beads, there's your other pearl. And this is what the color pack from that vintage rose looks like. So if you want as well, we are offering the ability to get both. So if you get both, you actually get everything from like pink to purples, and then from here you've got blues, greens, yellows, loads and loads of different things all together in the one little bundle. But the demo piece that we're going to make today, so this gives you an idea. Oh, you also get a DVD that will show you loads and loads of information. But anyway, let's get on with actually demonstrating. But now you know what the bundle actually includes. I want you guys to help me choose a bead that is going to go with these two just here. So I'm thinking, I'm drawn to this one. We'll see what we think. But essentially, the plan of what we're going to make today, what I'm going to show you how to make on the loom, is this little fella just here. It's a gorgeous little design which uses the crystals and the bricks, and then it has a load of seed beads in between as well. So that the great thing as well is this particular one, the bricks are double-sided. This is a different brick from ones that are in either of the kits, but I'm going to show you how to make this particular one. So yeah, what do you reckon? So I've got my 3mm and my brick. I'm thinking I really like this one just here. You'll see how nice it comes out. I could use this, but it might be a bit similar. This one's maybe a bit blue. Goldy one. Do you know what? I was going to ask for your suggestion, but I really want to use this bead. It's like a really gentle matte sort of green color that we have. It's gorgeous. So I'm going to go with these three. I'm going to just put the rest away for now, but I'm going to use a lovely bright blue thread. So with the kit that you're going to get, if you get our kit, you'll get a white thread and a nude thread. The reason for that is because it doesn't matter what colorway you're making. These two threads are going to be the ones that will not show up. But because I want you guys to see what I'm doing, I'm going to show you it done with the bright blue thread just here. So these are the beads that we're going to be using just here. The bricks, the 3mm crystals, the seed beads there, and then also the blue. So, of course, if you want to get both sets of colors, you can do. The Loomless coupon code works with that as well, and you'll get all of that stuff in one. So, now that we have our little piece just here, I'm going to grab myself my bead mat as well. What did you think of my dog collar, by the way? I love this little dog collar, and I thought it was so clever. I don't even have a dog, but I wanted to use it. But anyway, so we'll move on now. I've got my little bead mat out. Hopefully, it will be easy enough for you to see what I'm doing. Let me just give myself a teeny bit more space. And then I'm going to show you the difference of why this loom doesn't end up with so many threads at the end that you have to deal with, and how we're going to start this. So basically what we're doing is grabbing our needle. Do you know what? I was about to say, where have I put my needle? Right there. It's right there, being held, waiting for me. So I'll leave it there for now. But anyway, I'm going to show you now how we set up the loom. In fact, I might even make it a teensy bit smaller, just so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. So let's just... There we go. Because I want you guys to be able to see both sides. So this obviously isn't going to make a bracelet. It's a bit too small for that, but it's good for today's demonstration purposes. So first things first. What we'll do is grab our thread, and you know how we had these little pegs here? So the cool thing about these pegs is, see how, if I show you very closely, see how it has like a slit in the minute there, in the middle just there. We're going to use that. Jan Olsen says, dog collar. I thought you'd been ordained for a minute there until I saw the collar. No, that's a dog's collar. Not. I don't think a reverend would go too well with that collar. Anyway, so yeah, see how there's this fine little slit just here down the middle of this wooden peg, which, funnily enough, looks a lot like a golf tee. What we're going to do is take the end of our thread and we're going to just slip it inside of the middle of that little peg there. So if you just press it on one side here and just ease it nicely into the center of that peg. See? And now what I'll do is just wrap it round just a couple of times just to get it a bit more secure. And now what I will do is, see how there's these holes here? I'm going to just lug it nicely into that little hole, and that is going to keep that thread quite firm. I can even, which I like this as well, which is really clever about having used round pegs, is that if you want to, you can rotate the peg and it will tighten the thread for you. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So anyway, now that we have that, I can just, on my spool, which you get 2 different spools, I can just take my thread so that it goes... wait a minute, I haven't got it quite in the peg enough. Yes, I didn't wrap it enough times. So you got to wrap it a couple more times than that just to be extra secure. Let's go wrap, wrap, wrap. Rappity, rappity, wrap. There we go. Now we've got a good bit of wrapping on there. We can shove that in there, and now that's going to be more secure. So yeah, let's now take this over the top of this first bar and over the top of the second bar. So now if you have a look, this here is going to give me 1 line of my thread. So if you want to do a pattern that is, for example, like this one here, see how it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 beads across? We're going to do 7 lines plus 1 more. So however many rows of beads you have, it's that many rows plus 1 more. So essentially for this particular one, this one's slightly more advanced lessons, but that's fine. See, we've got 2 beads in there, so that's 1 line. This is going to be our second line. We've got a 3rd line, a 4th line, and a 5th line, and then we need 1 more. So this one, I'm going to need just 6 lines in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this outer edge makes 6. So if we go like this, this is line number 1. Now don't worry too much about the tension. It will be fine. So there we go. That's 1. And now I'll take the second one underneath. See that? So it's under, under. Now we'll go... over, sorry. Yeah, so we'll go over the top of this, over the top of that. Now we're going to go over the top of this, go back under here, and then we'll go over the top of that. See, look, 1, 2, 3 lines we have now. Let's go again. Now we have 4 lines. We can come back again. Now we have 5. And we're going to finish off now. So we're going to go over the top. And now we have 6 lines. See, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little lines. So what I'm going to do is take this peg here. So I've got 1 more peg. 1 peg for the start and 1 peg for the end. So now I'll extend my thread a little. We're going to just slip that into the middle of our peg. See? Like so. And now I'm going to just wrap it around a few times like we have been doing. And lug that into that little space in there as well. So now if I want to just take my scissors, we don't need this as well. Yeah, Melanie asks, is the dog pattern included in the kit? Yes, it is. That's one of the 67 kits. And Robin says a dog collar would look very nice. Thank you for the idea. Not a problem. So there. Now that I've got that, I can just cut that thread off. It's enough. I don't need any more. Now, if we have a look at this, you might start to think, oh, some of these threads are a bit loose. If you have a look, in fact, I'll even do it intentionally so that you can see what happens when it's a little bit loose. So if you have a look, our tension isn't so good right now. We want this to be nice and firm. So if I hold it up in front of my face, see this, how it's a bit boing, 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 boing. We want it to be firmer. So the way that you can do this, essentially, is just run your finger along it so that you're getting it a little bit tighter. Then pull the next thread. Then pull the third thread. Pull on the fourth thread. Then the fifth. And then the sixth. Now look at that. Ready? All we have to do now is turn, turn, turn. Whoops, I went the wrong way. Make sure you turn the correct way. There we go. Turn it, turn it, turn it, turn it, turn it. And now look at that. Firm. Look at that. No more sponginess. They're all relatively equal tension. So this is what we like. This is good. How easy is that? It makes it so much quicker. So now we have our 6 threads. We'll put them like so. This is about good enough, I think. So you can see we have 6 threads just here. Now we're going to give ourselves, whoops, a weaving thread. So I'm going to just give myself a length of thread. Again, I'll also use the same blue thread, and I'll cut myself off a piece. Just here we are. And now we're going to do similar. So I'll finally take my needle off my magnet, and we're going to thread that needle just onto the end here. There we are. Put that nicely on there, wherever. And I can just pop that on my magnet to be held for me. Now what we'll do is see this peg just here? Now, if you're left-handed like me, you can put the plug into this side. If you are right-handed, you can do it on this side. It's up to you. So if you're left-handed, like me, you can work in this direction, this direction, this direction. If you're right-handed, you can do it with your right hand. So it's up to you. So I'm going to put it on this side here. But I will flick between so that you can see the difference between left-hand and right-handed. I mean, essentially, it's identical. Doesn't matter. But anyway, so now let's just thread that onto the peg again, like so. And now, once again, let's wrap, 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 wrap. You can even put this thread down here so that we're going to wrap over that one too, just to make it extra secure. There we go. That's good. And now, because I'm left-handed, I'll put it on the left side. If you're right-handed, you can put it on the right side, but plug that in and give it a tug to test, and that's nice and firm. So now I have my working thread just here, plugged in, ready to go and attached. So first things first, let's get those seed beads out. So like I said, I'm going to use these ones here. They're like a gorgeous frosted color. So I'll just pour myself some out on the edge here. And to get started, I only need 12 beads. The cool thing is you can use beads of multiple sizes. You can use big beads, you can use small beads, you can use whatever beads you have to hand. You can just adapt how you're working with the loom. So anyway, now that I have that, for this particular design, because I want it to be the same width, like all the way across, I need to do 12 beads. Now, if you get the kit, you'll also get the little pattern type thing for how you can make this particular one. It's included. But anyway, now that we have that, I'll pick up my 12 beads. Now, you might be thinking, how will that work? Because there's going to be 5 gaps. If you have a look, there's 12 threads. 6 threads, but that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gaps. How am I going to make 12 fit? Well, this is the good thing. They don't actually have to have the same number of beads between. You can put 1 bead in there, you can put 2, you can put 3, you can put 4. Then on the one beside it, you can have 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't even matter how many beads you have in the gap. It's up to you how many you want to fit. So I'm going to go with 12 beads on my needle. So you pick up the entire row's worth of beads. Kelly asks, can you use delicate beads? Yes, you can. You can use seed beads. You can use 2-hole beads, which is what I'm going to be doing. You can use crystals. You can use pearls. You can use super duos, probably. All sorts of different things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So now we want the piece, our first row is going to go nice and flush down here, right? But we don't actually have to do it here because this is kind of the most difficult part. The very first rows are a little bit more difficult. So what we can actually do here is use the middle. So I'm going to just show you how this works. I'm going to make sure my thread stays above this bar because I want it to be above. But basically, all you have to do, see, look, this is going to be the full width of my bracelet just here. I can just slide these into position if I need to. And now I'm going to go 2 beads. The first little one can be a bit difficult, but then it's much, much easier after that. So we'll just align them so that it goes 2 beads in the first lot. Then we have 3 beads. So you just got to fiddle with it a little bit for the first one. Then hold your finger underneath the beads. This is like pretty much getting it secure. Obviously, this is slightly more advanced lessons. The easiest thing to start with is 1 bead in each gap. This is more advanced, but start with, if you've never done looming, 1 on each. So keep your finger nicely, firmly pressed up against those little beads. We're going to pull all the way through. Now, this is a handy little thing. I can just put my needle down, and if I want to, especially if I'm having any trouble with my thread, I can just weave it all through with my finger until the thread is pretty much taut. So here we go. There we are. And I'm going to leave it like this for now in the middle of the loom. If you want to, you can try and swap hands. It can be a little bit risky, but you can give it a go. There we go. And now see that all of those are underneath. So I've come from underneath. I'll get them a little bit straighter. Just get that last little working thread. The first row is the most difficult, but that's why we use our finger. So I've just lost 1 bead, but that's fine. We'll just slide him back up. Once we've got that first row, it gets way easier. So now we'll go above. See how, remember how I went underneath all of the threads? Now we're going to go above. So make sure you angle upwards each time. So up and through the next bead. Up, up, up and through the next bead. And make sure every time you're staying above those little threads. So I'll just zoom in a teeny weeny bit. So now you can just wiggle it back and go stay and above and above and above. And then just continue along. I'll just get these 2 beads back into position. There we go, there we go. And now we're above. See that? So it's all above, and this one is now all below. So if we take our thread now all the way through, you don't have to worry so much about your finger anymore, because 1 thread is above and 1 thread is below. You've just got to be careful that they don't get caught on the last ones that they come out. But as we pull tight, you'll see they'll get into position. See, look at this. And it's going to, see that? See how it's looped around that last little bit? It's going to lug on there and give us a nice little finish. Now see that? See how the threads here, they're now nicely separated, but because we did it in the middle where it was easy, we need to slide it on down towards the bottom. So we can see our width. We can just slide it down. Keep pulling on this thread as you go. And that's going to just bring it on down. Down, 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 all the way to the very bottom of our work. So if it's a little bit loose at the beginning, that's okay. We can sort that out. There we go. This is nice and lugged in there. This one's nicely lugged in there. We can just align it all now. And we have our first row. We can tighten this one in a minute once we've added our second or third rows. But it's now down at the bottom and we can begin continuing with our work. So now I'll do another row. Ready? Look at that. It's handy. That's why I put it there. Don't have to worry about where my thread is. I can just grab it and continue. So now I'm going to pick up 12 more beads. So let's just get that showing. And we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 beads. And now it's way easier because the beads are pretty much, oops, if you keep them on the needle that is, pretty much spaced exactly where they need to be. So if I just move this on down a little bit on my needle, I can just bring it up from underneath, try and keep it fairly central. And then with my finger, again, if I want to, I can slide this a bit further down and pull it tight. The first couple of rows are a little bit more fiddly, but we will get much, much easier. So now keeping my finger under there, let's pull this. I'll pop my needle back on my magnet and let's just pull, 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 pull all the way through. Oops, I got caught on my little peg there. There we are. Let's pull that up. And then as we pull that all the way till it's completely tight, it should sit nicely in position below the next one. So if I can just keep my finger there, I'll use my other hand and we'll take our needle, just grab it back off my magnet again. And now this time I'm going to make sure, just swap hands real quick, if I can do. Well, let's just move it away from the other row, just to give myself a bit more space. So there we go. Whoops, I dropped them. Doesn't matter. I can reposition them in a second. So now, just get that one into position. And we're going to go above every... Oh, sorry. I just realized I'm out of shot there. So now we're going to go above every single bead. So over the top, stay over the top of those rows below. And once you get past row 2, it's going to become much, much easier. So let's go through there and through there and through there. And keep it above, keep it above, keep it above. One more. Come on now, get through. There we go. And now I can let go. And as I pull it all the way through, it's going to hold those beads in place and pop that nicely into place. And now if I need to, if I feel that this thread could be a bit tighter, I can just tighten it over here if I need to. So there we go. Oh, you're right. That is only 11 beads. Says Deb. Is that only 11 beads? Oh, well. Whatever. I was meant to do 12, but you're right. There's one missing. It's not going to be a huge problem. I'll just do my next row to make sure it has 12. But you're right, Deb. I only did 11. But yeah, it's a simple mistake to make, but it's not going to be a huge problem. I'll just do my next row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I must have dropped one. And 12 beads. So now I'll put it back underneath again. Oh, I dropped it again. I tell you, I'm having a nightmare, aren't I? I'll count them this time to make sure before I finish. Slide them a little bit further down your needle. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Put them underneath. And they will fit nicely into those gaps. Once again, we can pull it all the way through. I'll just put my needle back on the magnet and pull, 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 pull. Make sure it doesn't get caught on that little edge there. Pull, 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 all the way. There we are. And now I'll take my needle back again. So if I just take my over the top, so I'm over the top there. That's the most important part, is making sure you're over the top every time. Over the top, over the top. So I sort of angle it slightly upwards. I'm pressing up with my finger so that the beads are lifted slightly. So my finger's like pushing them up just a tiny bit. And keep it lifted, keep it lifted, keep it lifted. But how much easier was that third row, eh? Once you've really get started, there we go. Pull all the way through. And look, looks great. You were right, there is a bead missing there. Doesn't matter. I could add that in later, but I'm not going to. It'll just be a small hole, a little reminder to be careful. Anyway, and now, so if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So now we have it. Now that we have our first few rows, it becomes way easier. So I can just put them, whoops, should have left them on my needle. Doesn't matter. Can just put them underneath once again, which I should have left them on the needle. Doesn't matter. But we can put it up like this. And once I've got it on the other side, I tell you, I'm having a time of it. There we go. Just get my finger underneath, try and fill all those gaps. See, they want to find the gaps. They want to find the right spots. It's handy. But using that needle definitely helps, because it's a nice solid piece. And now you can just go pushing up, pushing up, pushing up, pushing up. Press it up. Keep going all the way through. Like that. There we go. And then pull it all the way through. Like so. See? It gets way easier once you've done your first couple of rows. See? And now I can continue on and I'll start using other beads. So obviously this is a little bit different because I'm doing multiple beads in different gap sizes rather than just 1, 1, 1. But the reason I'm doing that is because if I just did it 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, is if you cut. Now, Melanie says, do you get the loom accessories in the kit if you go loomless? No, you don't, because essentially the accessories are extra little poles and little nub, little pegs and a little warp separator thing. So they're things that are specific for this loom, and they come as part of the box. We've ordered ones which are the loom plus the bonus accessories. So you don't have to, so if you get the loomless, it doesn't include the accessories because they come part of the bundle that we've got, but you get everything else. Okay, so now it's about to make sense as to why I've done it like this, where I've put 2 beads in here and 3 beads in there and so forth. It's because the width of these beads just here is bigger than one little seed bead. See, if I just had one seed bead, there wouldn't be the space. I'd need too many rows. I'd need 12 little rows, for example, but then this wouldn't fit. So it would be a bit of a mess. You'd have to have 2 threads and so forth as a little space. So what we're going to do, which, hey, that's a cool idea. I could do it with 3 little pieces if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. I'm going to stick to the plan. So now, let's start using some of these gorgeous bricks. So the interesting thing about the bricks, I'm doing a more advanced project just because I can show you the basics. See how they got 2 holes? and they've got these fantastic surfaces. We're going to put them in with our 3mm crystals as well. So if I just cut myself a few seed beads and a few crystals, I might need to get out a few more seed beads in a minute, but that's okay. So once I have that, now what I'll do is start adding my first little section of beads like this. So this one, this loom, Karen says, is this a better loom for a beginner? Absolutely, like 1,000,000% better. If you use a traditional style loom, it's sort of the mistake that people make, is that you go, oh, you know, I'm going to just spend a tenner and buy this cheap little loom and I'm going to give it a go. The problem is when you do that, you then have to deal with all of these threads, and I guarantee you, as a beginner, it's going to turn you off doing looming, because you're going to go, what? This is taking me hours and hours and hours to do, where with this loom, you don't have any of that faff at the end. You just get to do the fun part, which is the looming. None of the other is big faff. Now, by the way, of course, just ignore the fact that the thread is blue. I wouldn't use a blue thread if we weren't doing a a green piece like this. You would either use the white or the skin tone color that's the sort of the nude that is going to disappear. So anyway, now to fill these gaps, I'm going to go 2 seed beads, one of these little brick pieces, 1 3mm crystal, another brick, and then 2 seed beads. So I'll show you what that looks like. There we are. We have it just here. We have 2 seed beads, a brick, a crystal, a brick, 2 seed beads. So now I can just align those to fit. So see how this is why we did multiple seed beads in the thing just there. So if you have a look, is the only thing that's missing just here. So we have that nice bit of spacing just here to cover the size of this width. So if I just put my finger underneath there now, I can swap my hands over even. Pull it all the way through. And now I can go all the way back. So if we go above, so you want to make sure we're staying all the way above, through the bottom hole there. Keep it above that middle thread. Go into the crystal. Just pop it up with your finger. And up. Keep it above, keep it above, keep it above. And then the last 2 little seed beads, keep it above those warp threads. There we go. And it's all staying above. So now we can pull it all the way through. And that's going to give us the first row with our extra beads. So we just have to shift those little beads down. Give it a nice tug to make sure it's firm. And now, because it's quite, look, the next hole is all the way up here. So what we're going to do is reuse this same hole with more seed beads. So I'm going to pick up just 2 seed beads. And we're going to bring that underneath. So I'm going to go through, make sure I'm underneath this time, through that little central bead. Try and keep it underneath. So I'm going to push them down now so that I'm staying underneath, using the same beads as before, and push that through as well. There we go. And now we can pull this through, and this is going to be underneath. Ready? Once we've done this first underneath bit, we can do more. Pull the thread all the way through. Let's pick up those last 2 beads. Now, just use my other hand there because I want to keep my hand underneath, even though I probably don't need to. And we'll thread them all the way down our thread to be in position on our finger. So I'll just bring that underneath. See, we're doing quite advanced lessons looming here, just because I thought basic looming would be a little less interesting. So pop that inside that little gap. There we go. So we're underneath. And now we have to just go back. So if we go above now, so we'll go through these 2 beads. It's a little messy at the beginning, but it gets way neater in a second. And then we go through that same hole again, see? And then keep it above through the crystal, which if we just press it with our finger, there we go. I'm trying to do it nice and slow so you can see exactly what's happening. And then we're going to go keep it above that thread there. And now into, which I'll even pull it through and do them after. Oops, got my finger caught. There we go. And now I'll go into, press it up, those last 2 beads, 1 and 2, and then pull that all the way through. And there we go. That's going to start doing that next little bit. See that? There we go. So now let's go back. So we'll do our next one. So we'll go 2 seed beads, 1 and 2. And then we'll go nicely through that little bottom bead. We can pick up, just make sure I don't get caught on the corner of the table, pick up a crystal. Slide that down as well. Go through the next bead. The handy thing is, when you're using these bricks, because the bricks are already attached, you don't have to worry about holding it so much. Go through that little bottom hole. Where are you? There we go. Through there. Let's pull it through. That's going to lug nicely in there. Yep. Grab 2 more seed beads. 1 and 2. And we'll slide them down as well. Sandy says, this is great. Never knew you could get more creative on a loom. There's always more interesting ways that you can do things. Always. So there we go. Now let's go up into the top, go over the top of this little working thread here. See, look, we want to make sure we're above that thread. Push that bead into there. Go above, into the crystal. Keep it above, and then we'll finish off by going through those 2 seed beads and above that end one. And now pull, 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 pull. And that's nicely done there. So now we'll do 1 more row. See how this is a little bit loose just here? But don't worry, when we add our final row, it will get nicely into position. So let's pick up 1 and 2. And I'll just slide them on down, I think. We'll go from the underside into the thing here. The good thing is, if you accidentally go over the top, it's not a huge problem because you've already gone underneath and over the top of these particular beads. There we go. And then this will pull tight nicely. Oop, don't get too twisted. There we go. And I'll pick up 2 more little seed beads. 1, 2. If you've got 2 bead mats, you could have 1 on the left side and 1 on the right side. That would be bonus lessons. Jan, is this a case of checking that the holes in the bricks are okay before adding them? That would be a good idea. I mean, I'm pretty confident that they're going to be good, that you shouldn't have a problem, but it is always in your best interest to check the holes of the bead before you start beading, because otherwise you will be very mad if there's a problem. So there we go, over the top, over the top, over the top. Let's do all of these, and then I'll do the last 2 beads after. Then we can go back to just doing 12 in a row. See, what do you think of this this little double, doing it more creative bead looming? So through those last 2 beads, stay over the top, and then just keep ourselves careful. Ta-da! There we go. Nice and tight, slide it all down, and that is looking really good. I'm really happy with that now. How's that? What do we think? So now I'll just pick up 12 more little seed beads. So let's just put that down. There we go. And I'll grab 12 more seed beads just to finish that off, and you can see what it'll start to look like. 1, 2, 3. The great thing about loom work is it's so much quicker than doing it in like square stitch, which you'll see in a minute because I'm going to do some of that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 little beads. Oh, I didn't do it. Oh, well, whatever. Take my thread. I wasn't paying attention. I pulled them off the needle. I'm too eager to show you what's happening. Anyway, let's get those nice and tight. Slide them down. And back into those same gaps. There we go. If the gaps change slightly, it doesn't matter too much. As long as you've got them, like you could have 2 here, 2 there, 3 there, 3 there, and whatever. It doesn't matter too much. Like, it's... You can have as many or as few as you want. It's up to you. Like, there we go. That should give us a nice little space there. And now let's bring our needle back over. I should have used it on the little magnet. There we go. And now we'll go over the top, staying over the top. So press it up with my finger. Bye to Rhonda, by the way, who's just dropped off. She said she's got a class for International Bead Week in the morning. So she's popping off so that she can get some sleep, seeing as it's almost 1 in the morning for her. So thanks for staying up late, Rhonda. So yeah, pull, 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 pull. There you go. And that's going to frame that in. Donna asks, is the focus slightly off? It might be. It might be trying to focus on down here or something. Who knows? But there we go. Let's do our next one. 12 again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There we go. So Susan says, seems like pulling the beads off the needle looks much easier, less fiddly. Maybe. See what works for you. I'm going to do this one just here on the needle, though. There we go. Nice and easy. And then let's pull it all the way through. Whatever works better for you. Obviously, the first few rows can be a little bit tricky. But once you get started, it's way easier. There we go. There's another row. See? And you can just keep going, keep going, keep going. Whatever works for you. Just ignore that one random little hole. If only I'd been paying attention. And anyway, you're going to just keep going. This time I'll do it slightly differently. Let's go 1, 2 seed beads, a crystal, and a brick. Maureen says, is that a blister on your index finger? Actually, it's not from looming. That's from playing basketball last night. So yes, there is a blister on my finger, but that's from basketball, not from looming, thankfully. And then 2, 1, and 2. So now we'll go underneath. There we go. And I've got too many crystals. What am I doing? I forgot that I was swapping. So we'll go through here. And add this one on here. So I'll go underneath. Do I have enough beads now? Yep. See, there we go. Get that in there. Get that one in there. And this is a little bit thinner, but that's okay. Pull this one all the way through. And now let's take it back. So over the top. Over the top. Now I don't want to be hearing any dirty jokes. There we go. Last bead. There we go. There we go. Nice. And now let's do our next one. So this time I'm going to use 2 beads underneath, but I'll go into the crystal, then the following bead, then the next crystal, and then the following 2 beads. And, whoops, and then I need to pick up 2 beads, don't I? So just pull that up. There we go, that's going to fit nicely in there. And I'll pull this tight in a second so that it neatens up a little. So let's just slide those ones into position too. Both of them there. There we go. And now over the top, into there, and here, and then the next, and then through those 2 top beads too. There we go. And now let's just pull this. See, look, it doesn't matter if it gets a little bit loose. We can do all the tightening at the end. Slide them back down a bit. There we go. And now we can do our next couple. So we'll go 1, 2, and a crystal this time. We'll go through the second hole of this one here. Pull that up. The nice thing is, because we've got this little bead already, it's going to give us something to plug onto. And I'll grab my other crystal. See, this is where I need the beads on the right side. 1 crystal, 2 seed beads. Welcome to Monica, who's just joined us as well. Maureen says, I find looming so relaxing. Do you know what? I know exactly what you mean. I'm like feeling so chill right now. And now let's go back through, keeping it over the top, all the way. There we go. See, isn't this a bit different? Something a bit more interesting, maybe? Because obviously the premise is exactly the same if you were going to be making something like this. You just have to go, yeah, let's pick up. See how it's got all these different lines in between. You can see the little lines between each one. There's a line there, and a line there, and a line in between there, and one in there. Warp threads are the ones that go all the way down. And then the weft is the one that we use to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So now, if you look at this one here, you can see there's lots and lots of those little threads. This is using the non-elasticated clear illusion cord, it's called, so that it's clear on the edge. But anyway, and you can just go back and forth, doing the beads that you need to do on each particular row in the exact same way as this one, and it works really, really nicely. I'll just do one last, or 2 more rows. I'll do 2 more rows, one last one like this, so that we can see. But you can see already, this is definitely quicker than if you were doing it on a, if you're doing it in square stitch. That would be taking quite some time, I think. Through there, keep it underneath. Hopefully that will pull into that position. Grab myself 2 more beads, 1 and 2. See, I told you I need a set of beads on both sides. Let's slide that one in. And now let's go back. There we go. Back in there, back in there, back in there. And then I'll do this last little bit afterwards. All the way through and through those last 2 beads. So just pop them up. Go all the way through. There we are. How cool is that? What do we think? What do we think about this? Hi to Maria from Connecticut, who's just joined us. All right, I'll do one last row, and then I'm going to show you how you can do claspy type things, because we've done enough on the loom here. This is just the basic technique. There's the kit includes on the DVD so much information. It's like, I think, about an hour's worth of tutorial, but like so much more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Let's just check we have 12 beads. Whoops, I dropped one, of course. Once again, always dropping them. So let's just pop that under there. How many beads have I got? I bet you I got one too many now. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I need to just separate my end threads a teeny bit, I think. There we go, that's better. So let's just line that back up. 2 in there. Let's go 3. Let's do it a little bit further up. So that this one, there we go. And pop you back in there. There we go. Now we're in position. All the way through. And back up. So if you find it easier, by the way, to do all of your loom work away from the previous beads, like I'm doing right now, you can also do that. It's not a problem. You just got to tighten them when you finish. So there we go. Take it all the way through. Hold them in place. In fact, you don't even need to. And then just give this last little loop a tug, slide them down, and then let's pull that through. And we can continue now. You can do another 12 and another and another and another and just keep going. And it will continue to add these beads until eventually you have something like this, and you can just take it off of the loom. But when you take it off, so see how there's just nothing up here. There's just no ends that you're going to have to deal with because it all loops around, kind of like how it does at the base down here. You just have to keep beading until you get to the very, very, very end. So now, if you have a look, we can just slide this down. It's a good idea to go and reinforce this a couple of times, the very end. Obviously, it's pulling a bit funny because I missed a bead. But once you have that into position, it's really easy to get that nice and firm at the end, slide it all down, and make it look fantastic. So that's pretty much on the loom. I'm going to show you now what we can do in terms of finishing it off. So when you take it off the loom and you've got it completely finished, it is going to look like this. So you know how we have our pegs. If you take off the pegs, these are the only threads that you're going to have. So if you have a look, there's a thread there, a thread there, a thread there, and then when you finish and you get to the very end, there'll be another one coming out the end of your beadwork right here, see? So there's that one there. So because this one was an odd number of rows, there's probably an even number of beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 beads. So we had 15 back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That means one is at this end, one is on the opposite corner. We had a thread, I've already weaved that off. And then we have our other thread, which is the one that we used to finish this little fella off just there. So it's nice and easy to start working with your little pieces. But now let me go through and I'm going to show you how you can reduce the size of your rows. So if you wanted to, for example, bring it down to a point, you can just use your square stitch. So I'm going to do that just here. I'm going to grab myself a few seed beads. Don't need many. And I'm going to attach my needle onto the end of my, I shouldn't have done it in clear. Unfortunately, I don't have one that's colored. But anyway, this is what the clear thread looks like. If you can see it. There it is. Clear, transparent. So you can use whatever threads as well that you want. So if I just very, very quickly, because I'm exiting from this last little bead just here, let's zoom in. I'm going to just weave down a couple. Go through these 2 beads just here. I'll go through one more. 3. You can go the whole way if you need to, but I've reinforced this one already. So you can go all the way out and then all the way back up. But I'm not going to do that because I've done it already. So I'm exiting from this third bead. I'm going to go back now and through just 2 beads. Before I do this, actually, there's something else I'll show you, which is really, really good with these loom projects, are slide clasps. So if you don't know what a slide clasp is, they're these fellas just here. This is literally what a slide clasp is for. They are perfect for this. So if, for example, you finished your piece and you want to just put a clasp on, you couldn't be bothered to do anything else, you just want to put a clasp straight on, something like this, because it's already in square stitch, I'll do it on the opposite end, you just have to finish off your threads, and then this little piece will just slide with a bit of trouble, but just take your time, onto that end loop of all your beadwork, press it in, and then see how there's a little flap here. I'm not going to do it because obviously I don't want to seal this permanently. You just bend that down, and that's going to give that a fully finished little piece just there, already done, completed clasp. So then you do the same with the opposite side. So I will do this just to show you how quick it is. Doesn't need any glue, but you can add it if you want to. Just takes a bit of time to weave down those threads. Whoops, I went too far. Helps if you close this one in advance. Now I've got to weave back. There we go. So there you go. And then that would give you 2 sides of your clasp, and they just slide in together. And hey, presto, it's done. Just flatten these down. All finished. This is a fantastic clasp for these style of jewellery, this style. So you can do that with, if you've got one this width, for example, this fits perfectly with 14 Preciosa beads. If you've got a thinner one, like this little fella just here, you could use something like this, or maybe one that's slightly larger, like our snowmen. Could fit nicely in there. Again, even though you've got size 8 seed beads or size 10, they will go on there. See, look, threads straight over the top of those size 8 beads. Bigger than size 8s, you might struggle, but those size 8s are good. Look at that. Easy. Finished. Done. Dusted. So that is just there. So if you want, we can just undo that. But now I'm going to show you. So that is called a slide clasp. So if you want to get those, these are fantastic for looming. The other option, which we give you some of these little beads, is to add this little loop section, which you get instructions for that on the DVD, or you can stitch the 2 ends into one single row, so it's like a bangle. There's some written instructions, but it's also, there's some written instructions, there's quite a bit of written instructions as well, but then there's, the DVD has a lot of tutorial information on it. So yeah, you can make it as one single piece like that, or which is more or less just stitching the 2 ends together, or, which is what I'll show you just now very, very quickly, is doing square stitch to start adding on your next little beads. So let's just loop around and through this bead, and see how I started from 1 bead less. So I started from here, I added a bead, and I just looped back around into the same bead. So we'll go back into here, get that nice and firm, and now if you see, we're already 1 bead less than we were. So now we can pick up 1 more bead, and we'll loop back into the 2nd bead. See that? We'll go through the 2nd bead, pull tight. This is just basic square stitch, and back into this one. Pull tight. You do get full instructions written, not DVD, for you, Melanie, who asked the question. So now we can just go into there, and then go into the next bead. We'll go backwards through that next bead. Pull tight. And into there. If it comes a bit loose, don't worry, it will fix up in a second. There we go. There's the next. Let me grab another bead. Then we go through the next one. And you can just keep doing this one by one by one and then you reduce the next row, reduce the next row, reduce the next row, all the way along until eventually there we go. And now we can do our next one. See, look, it's really, really simple. This is just basic square stitch that we're doing, but it will reduce the size of the row. So I will try and get this whole row. I haven't left myself much thread here, unfortunately. Let's bring my bead mat a bit closer, shall we? So then just loop through the next, and back up again. But this is another reason why looming is so much quicker. Like, imagine how long it would take if you had to do the entire bracelet in this style. I can do one row in the time it takes to do like 3 beads. So it's way quicker than doing your square stitch. But actually, this is a very useful piece of information for you. Any square stitch instructions or any square stitch patterns that you find, they work on a loom. They're exactly the same. Square stitch and loom stitch are identical. So yeah, if you find ever a pattern for loom, or even our arazzo patterns, they can be made on a loom, which that piece that I showed you is actually one of our arazzo designs, the arazzo angel. We made it on a loom. That wider angel piece. So let's see, hopefully I'm going to get to the end here and can loop around and do the next row. Maybe. Just a couple more beads. And then the next. Here we go. Just one more after this one, and then I can move up to the next row so that you can see exactly what happens. Through there. And last little bead here. Hopefully I'm going to have enough thread to do the next, to start the next row, but after that I'm surely not going to. So pull that up there. And now what I can do, instead of going through that last little end bead, I can go through 1 or 2 more backwards. Come on now. There we go. Go back a couple. And now go all the way through, but not through the very last one. So in line, but not through the last bead. And then when I add this bead on here, loop back through that same bead we're exiting. Come on now. There we are. Pull that tight. Oh no, I've lost my needle. Through there. And of course, because I'm so low on thread, it has come off. Didn't leave myself enough. Which I can just weave in a new thread if I need to, but I was hoping I wouldn't have to. And now if I just pull that in through here. Get that last one. Note to self, have more thread at the end. But this will, oh, come on now. Of course, I've lost my thread. But anyway, you can see, I'm not going to bother. You can see it just slowly, slowly, slowly reduces the size of each row by the next and the next and the next. So that it's one less, or one less on this side, one less on that side, one less on this side, one less on that side. Same here, until eventually it comes down to a single point of either 1 bead or 2, and you can attach any clasp you like. You can use a toggle, you can use a lobster, you can use a single bead, you can do whatever you like, but it's going to give you a really neat, clean finish towards the very, very end. So a really simple, fun little technique, which again, you've got full instructions for this with your bundle. But I'll show you, because Melanie asked, what are the beads like for the other one? So for the, I'll just show you this very, very quickly. So you'll get a second set of the clasp beads just here. You've got This is in the vintage rose. You've got this gorgeous rainbow color just there. Then you've got some pearls. You've got these gorgeous double-sided bricks just here. These are the 3mm bricks you get. Then, in terms of your seed beads, let's just lay them all out. See, look, there's that second set of clasp beads. And then you have, let's start with purples. All these colors over here. Oh, I missed one. There you go. Look, so you've got all of these. Hopefully the color's going to show okay. If I zoom out maybe a little bit more, it'll show. But you've got this lovely, gentle, sort of soft purpley color. You've got a slightly darker one. Again, it's got this gorgeous rainbow surface. You've got some silver-lined ones. Again in purple. You've got like a really deep purpley red with rainbow. You've got some satiny ones here as well. There's some silver-lined ones in size 8. And then you've got this copper-lined one, which looks really cool. You've got a really nice sort of rose gold color. Then you've got this opaque pink just here. And then you've got, I really like this one. It's like a sort of peachy, salmony, color-lined one. So those are your colors just there. But in the end, if you get both bundles together, you have the big pack of all 20 colors. You get both sets of bricks that you can always mix them and match them together if you want to. Put them together like however you see fit. You can do, for example, one which is just all pearls, then all crystals, all pearls, all crystals, all pearls, all crystals, whatever takes your fancy. You can get creative with it. You can even do a big hodgepodge mix like this. You can use larger beads like this one here. See that? That's using check glass beads. You can use size 8s, you can use size 10s, you can use delicas, you can use 15s, whatever you want. As wide as you want as well, like this one. It's a nice little angel that we did on the loom with our thicker one. But then, see, look, with the slightly wider needle, for example, lots and lots of things are included. So I'll show you them just really, really quickly on the Bead Spider website, and I think that will do us for today. So if we just have a look, if you click on the link in the description, where is it? Here we go. Yeah, if you click on the link in the description, it will take you to the Bead Spider homepage, which today looks like this. Maureen says, I love that green and white mix. Glad you like it, Maureen. There. So, yeah, if you want to get our bead looming bundle, if you missed the tutorial, you want to go back and watch it from the beginning, you can click on this big button here, watch the tutorial, and that will take you to the page where you can watch today's video. No, it isn't, because I put the wrong link in. Haha, how silly. I'll fix that up. But anyway, this one here will take you to where you can watch the video. No, it won't. Well, anyway, I'll show you the I need to fix that, clearly. But anyway, if you have a look, if you want to get the Caribbean Crush, there's it just there, which comes with, if we have a look, you can go check out these pictures as well. There's some really good photographs for you to check out. Obviously, if you want to change currencies, you can do so up here into euros or US dollars. It is 30% off. Here, you can read all about it just here. It'll tell you everything that you need to know. Everything that is included is here as well. Look at that. So you're going to get your Rick's beading room, the Rick's beading loom, the loom accessory pack, because that comes in the box. You get the DVD, you get 67 loom patterns, so the animal pattern pack, the floral pattern pack, the geometric, and the Christmas. You've got 8 colours of size 10s, 2 colours of size 8s, some 3mm faceted rounds, some 3mm check glass, those 2-hole glass bricks. You got the clasp beads, you've got 2 colours of thread, you get 2 beading needles in size 11, 1 long loom needle, you've got the leaflet that comes in with the thing as well, and then you also have the tapering loom work to a point instruction sheet, and there's actually another instruction sheet included as well. But if you want to have a look, if you open up the pictures, look, there's the loom that you'll get. Here's a picture of the full bundle. So if you have a look, there are some of the extra add-ons here. There's your thread. There's your 10 colors of beads, your pearls, the crystals, but you can get close-ups if you want to see them. Lots and lots of pictures. That's a nice one of the loom designs. That rose is lovely. See, lots and lots of pictures to check out exactly what it is that you're going to get. There's that DVD. All of it's there. So if you want to get that one, you can do. If you want to get the vintage rose, it's just here. We've got a whole load of different types of clasps that you can get. There's extra needles here. If you want to just get the bundles, if you want to just get bits by themselves, you can get them all here. See, look, here's an example of some of the floral ones. Here's an example of the geometrics, the Christmas. Here's an example of the animals, like that dog collar that I showed you. If you want to get the DVD on its own, it's here. If you want to get some elastic, some clear illusion non-elastic cord, it's there. If you want to get some more of those clasp beads, you can get those. And then, of course, we obviously have loads and loads of different types of beads. Now, if you want to get even bigger savings, the Double Delight Super Kit includes both colors. So you'll get all of the beads from both projects. But, like I said, if you don't want to get the loom, so if you want to go, yes, I love this, but I don't need the loom, I already have it, you can go add to basket, just here. And then when it comes to checkout, you can go buy yourself some extra beads, you can go get whatever it is that you want to get. You can go up here and go view basket, or checkout, either one. I think it takes you to about the same place. So from here, you can see that, and then as long as you come over here and you type Loomless, like that. So LOOMLEELESS. You apply that coupon code, and then bang, there you go. It will remove the cost of the loom, and you are just paying for the beads instead, and all of those patterns and all of those extra goodies without having to fork out for the cost of the loom if you already have one. So a lot of people did ask us, oh, can I get the loom, but can I get the bundle but without the loom? Yes, you can. Just use that coupon code and you will get your discount. So anyway, you can continue shopping, get whatever you want. If you want to get some of our other beading patterns, you can check them out up here at the top. See, look, kits and tutorials, patterns, all patterns. We have a lot of different beading patterns that you can go and check out and start working on. There's how many pages worth? 3 pages worth. So I think there's about 150 patterns or so that you can go and get from there. Some of them are free. Some of them are paid. It's up to you. You can get whatever you want. This one here, 20 free patterns for working with twins or super duos. That's a cool one. And if you check out the link that's there in the description, so down below if you are on YouTube, up above if you're on Facebook. Whoops, sorry about that. Up above if you're on Facebook, it will take you to the place where you can sign up to our newsletter and you get a £5 voucher to try out any of our beading patterns as well. But anyway, that is it for me for today. Hopefully that covered quite a bit, shows you the basic technique, shows you how to set the loom up, kind of tells you why this loom is so fantastic, especially compared to more traditional style looms. I don't know. If you've got any questions, of course, pop them down in the comments after the stream. I'll get back to you if we can and answer those questions for you. But yeah, any questions you've got, please do ask them down there. Now, of course, if you want to, please do like, share, subscribe, all of that business. I am here every Friday. Actually, I say that. I'm here every Friday. Next Friday is going to be a little bit different. So instead of a live video, it's going to be a pre-record because we are all off to Sicily because my little nephews are being baptized and I'm going to be the godfather. So I will not be here next Friday. I'll be in Sicily. But I have already filmed a lovely tutorial for you, which will be coming next Friday, that will be showing you a nice little project that I think you'll all like. A nice one for the summer. But anyway, that's it for me for today. Thank you all very, very much for watching. Jermaine says, bye, everyone. So, goodbye from Jermaine. Sandy says, wonderful tutorial. Thank you. Enjoy your weekend. See you next time. Well, thank you, Sandy. Deb says, thanks, Matthew. Have a great weekend, everyone. Happy beading. You too, Deb. Thanks for joining. Monica, she says, thank you so much for your wonderful tutorial. Maureen is here as well. We have Maria, who, oh, this is nice. She says, hey, Bead Spider, I work with people that have intellectual challenges. We play your YouTube videos for them. It's a great therapy, and they are having the time of their life making your bracelet. Well, thank you. I'm so glad to hear that. And that you've been getting such good use out of my tutorials. But yes, thank you all very, very much for joining me. I hope you have a lovely weekend. Don't forget to hit that like button, the subscribe button, and of course, any questions you have, comment them down below. I will not be here next Friday. It'll be a live at this. It'll be a pre-record, but at the same time as usual, so that you'll be able to watch that next Friday. But then I should be back live again the Friday after. So we'll see. I will be back soon though, but thank you very, very much. If you want to get our loom bundle with or without the loom, you have until I think it's like the 5th or something, next Sunday, whatever next Sunday is going to be, you'll get that 30% off, and then that discount is gone. We only have a limited number of looms as well, so thank you all very, very much. If you want to get that kit, go jump on and get it nice and quick. Thank you all very, very much for watching. I hope you have a lovely weekend. And I will see you all next time I'm back doing a live tutorial, which I'm sure will be very, very soon. It'll be a Friday at 3 p.m. UK time, which is 10 a.m. on the East Coast, 7 a.m. On the West Coast of the US. Midnight if you're in Australia on the East Coast. Unfortunately, in Perth, it'll be probably somewhere in the region of about 9 p.m. But yeah, thank you all very, very much for watching. Make sure you sign up for those free £5 worth of patterns, and I'll see you all later. Have a lovely weekend. See you later, and bye-bye.